A paralyzed boy pointed to the one dog. No one wanted the one labeled dangerous. The shelter staff begged him to choose another, but he refused, tears streaming down his face. Then, in front of everyone, the dangerous German shepherd did something so unbelievable. It left everyone speechless. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Ethan had always believed life could change with just one friend, confined to a wheelchair after an accident that stole the use of his legs. He spent his days watching other children run, play, and laugh while he sat by the window, longing for something more. His world felt small until the idea of having a dog lit a fire in his heart. He had read stories of loyal German shepherds who became guardians, companions, even heroes. Ethan dreamed of one sitting by his side, pulling him closer to a life that didn't feel so empty. At night he whispered prayers that someday, somehow, he would find a dog that truly understood him. His parents noticed his quiet longing, the way his eyes sparkled at pictures of dogs on television, the way he smiled at strays passing by the street. Finally, after months of pleading, they gave in. Tomorrow, his mother said softly, we'll visit the shelter. Ethan barely slept that night, his heart racing with hope. For the first time in years, he felt alive with anticipation. He didn't just want a dog. He believed his future best friend was waiting for him. The next morning, the shelter buzzed with life. Rows of cages lined the walls, filled with dogs of every shape and size. Barking echoed through the hallways, a chorus of desperate cries for attention. Some tails wagged with excitement, others thumped nervously against cold metal bars. The air carried the sharp mix of disinfectant and damp fur. Ethan's wheelchair rolled slowly along the aisle, his eyes wide with wonder. Volunteers smiled warmly, pointing to friendly dogs, tail-wagging puppies, and older companions who licked the bars eagerly. These are safe choices, one worker explained gently, leaning toward his parents. Perfect for families. Ethan nodded politely, but his gaze drifted beyond the noise and the chaos. In the farthest corner, separated from the others, sat a German shepherd. Unlike the rest, he didn't bark or whine. His eyes were dark, intense, watching everything in silence. A bold sign on his cage read, "Caution, aggressive." Ethan's breath caught in his chest. The moment their eyes met, it felt as if the world around him faded. He pointed slowly, his voice trembling but certain. "That one, I want him." The moment Ethan pointed, the room fell silent. A volunteer exchanged a nervous glance with another staff member before kneeling beside his wheelchair. "Sweetheart," she said gently. "Not that one. He's not safe." Ethan's brow furrowed. "But look at him," he whispered, his voice cracking. "He's not barking. He's just waiting." His hand gripped the armrest tightly, desperation etched across his face. His parents shifted uncomfortably as the shelter director approached. "That shepherd has a history," the man explained, his tone firm. He was abandoned after reports of aggression. He's unpredictable. We cannot under any circumstance allow him to be adopted into a family, especially with a child. Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. He shook his head, refusing to believe it. He's not dangerous, he cried. He's just scared. Please, please let me take him home. His small fists trembled on his lap as sobs broke free, but the staff remained unmoved, their decision final. I'm sorry, the director said softly, though his voice carried no room for debate. Ethan's heart shattered. The shepherd wasn't just another dog. He was the one, and they were keeping him apart. As Ethan's sobs echoed through the shelter, something stirred inside the German shepherd's cage. The dog, who had remained silent and distant, suddenly rose to his feet. His powerful frame moved slowly, deliberately, until his face pressed against the cold metal bars. The staff froze, bracing for aggression, but it never came. Instead, the shepherd's dark eyes softened, filled with something no warning sign could capture. He leaned closer, ears low, and let out a low whine that sounded almost like sorrow. Ethan lifted his tear-streaked face and reached out, trembling fingers brushing the space between them. To everyone's shock, the shepherd didn't snap or pull back. Instead, he pressed his wet nose gently against the boy's hand. A single tear glistened in the dog's eye, rolling down his fur. The boy gasped, his voice breaking into a whisper. He understands me. He's just like me. For the first time, the hardened staff wavered. The room fell silent, and unease gave way to something unexpected. Hope, a volunteer, quickly pulled Ethan's wheelchair back, fear flashing in her eyes. That was dangerous, she warned, though her voice trembled with doubt. But Ethan clung to the armrest, tears streaming as he cried out, "No, he wasn't dangerous. He was gentle. He's my dog. Don't take him away from me." His parents exchanged uneasy glances. His mother knelt beside him, her hand on his trembling shoulder. "Ethan, sweetheart, maybe we should choose another," she whispered, her voice heavy with worry. But Ethan shook his head violently, sobbing harder. "No one else understands me. He's the only one. Please, he's my best friend." Already, the staff looked on, torn between duty and the undeniable connection unfolding before them. The director frowned, crossing his arms. Yet, hesitation flickered in his eyes. This was no ordinary request. It was a plea from a boy who saw something no one else did. The shelter grew eerily quiet. Dogs hushed, volunteers stilled, and all that remained was the sound of Ethan's broken voice repeating over and over, "Please, he's mine." Before anyone could respond, a sudden crash shattered the tense silence. One of the cages down the aisle burst open, and a large dog bolted into the walkway, barking wildly. Volunteers shouted, rushing to contain the chaos. In the confusion, Ethan's wheelchair jolted backward, its wheels striking uneven ground. The boy gasped as the chair tipped dangerously, his arms flailing. His parents cried out, rushing forward, but they weren't the first to reach him. The German shepherd exploded against his cage, forcing the latch until it gave way. In one swift motion, he lunged across the floor, planting himself between Ethan and the charging dog. The shepherd growled fiercely, his body forming a shield around the trembling boy. The loose dog skidded to a halt, intimidated before being pulled away by staff. When the danger passed, the shepherd didn't move away. Instead, he turned his head, gently nudging Ethan's hand with his nose as if asking, "Are you safe?" The shelter workers stared in stunned silence. The aggressive dog had just performed a miracle. The room remained frozen, every eye fixed on the boy, and the German shepherd pressed against him. The staff, who once warned of danger, now stood speechless, their fear dissolving into disbelief. The dog's protective stance, the gentleness in his eyes, none of it matched the label of aggressive. Ethan clutched the shepherd's fur, his tears now mixed with trembling laughter. "See," he whispered through shaky breaths. "He was meant for me." His parents, still shaken from the near accident, could no longer deny the truth. Staring back at them, the bond was undeniable, powerful, and pure. The shelter director cleared his throat, struggling to mask his astonishment. He glanced at his staff, then back at the boy and the dog. For a long moment he said nothing. Then slowly he gave a single nod. "Maybe we were wrong about him." Gas filled the air as hope flooded Ethan's face. The miracle had not just saved him, it had changed every heart in that room. The director's signature sealed the adoption papers, and Ethan's hands trembled with joy as the leash was placed in his grip. The German shepherd walked proudly at his side, no longer behind bars, no longer rejected, finally free. Outside, sunlight bathed them both. As Ethan whispered, "Your name is Guardian because you saved me." The dog's tail wagged as if he understood every word. His parents watched through tearful eyes, realizing this wasn't just adoption. It was destiny. A boy once broken by loss, and a dog once discarded as dangerous had found healing in each other. Sometimes the greatest miracles aren't found, they find us, and together they walked home, two hearts finally